Hello. Hey guys, so, I still need to get my images on the screen. I am running a little bit late, but let me mute my other screen so I can hear myself.
Still need to get my images.
Shut up. Okay, what up? Alright, so, I do need to get my images on the screen, like I said. Let me do that, and then I will be showing you guys what I need to show you. So just give me a second. You might see me setting up my screen. Don't mind me, don't mind the wizard behind the screen, you know, like what is that, Wizard of Oz? Alright, I am going and setting my shit up, so just give me 2 seconds. Alright, so need me a slideshow here, and alright, so I am still setting this up, don't mind me. Alright, so these are some of the images that I'm going to use, so let me go back to this screen, and I apologize one more time. I just have to do one more setup and then we'll be good to go. So I need to open this up. Violations. Alright, we got one. I'm glad you made it. I promise I'm almost there. Okay. So I'm going to show you a couple of reports and some images like you saw me setting up. I just have one more to get set up and then I can begin. Alright, okay, so tonight we are looking at how to use those violations that I showed you in those 3 videos to get your deletions. So I didn't want to go through like 50 million files to find the information that I needed. So what I did was I pulled from older reports that I knew had all the violations that I was looking for, or at least most of them, and the one thing that I did not do was prepare like dispute reasons, but you're watching from the ER, you know this is important. Damn, son. That's crazy. Watching from the ER. I'm sorry to hear that. Okay. And if my computer's freezing, it is because it has a bunch of shit open and it's using a lot of CPU. Okay. My images are loading, and as soon as they are, I am going to be good. Okay, so when I'm looking over this way, my chat is over here, so I can see what you are saying. And once again, if I freeze, I apologize. This is like more than my computer wants to handle right now, and I appreciate you guys sitting with me while I set this up, because this shit just does not want to cooperate. Like, real talk, it does not want to cooperate. Okay, so I am now ready as soon as this wants to load. Okay, what I am going to have to do, because this does not want to load, is use 1, 2, 3 reports. Okay, we are going to try to do this with 3 reports. And I just have one more screen that I need to set up. So you're going to see me disappear for 1 second. Alright. Okay, and I am double on my screen. What's up? Anyways, okay, so I believe that I am set up and ready to go now. If I'm not, I apologize. I am going to be putting, once this video has been completed, I am going to put links down in the description for what I'm going to be talking about. Okay, so am I tired? Actually, I am tired because I've been working non-stop to learn new techniques to get clients results. So the answer to that is 150 fucking %. I am tired as shit, and I got no makeup on. So let's go to first things first. Okay, so once again, if you are just joining, we are talking about the violations and how we can use these violations to get deletions with the creditors, the bureaus, and the debt collectors. Okay, so what's really important to notice is if you've watched those 3 videos, there's a lot of shit that is the same between all 3, like the required notice of dispute, recklessly doing this or that or whatever. We're only looking at very specific ones, such as collections having late payments and the notice of dispute. And I'm going to try to pull up this 3rd report so that we can look at it while I am doing this. And it looks like it's going to load. Okay. Dun, 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 dun. Did it do it? I think we're there. And we are. Alright, I'm good to go now. Okay, so I don't know if I'm starting with the bureaus, I don't know if I'm starting with the creditors, and I don't know if I'm starting with the debt collectors. I'm starting with whichever one of my reports came up first. So what I'm going to do is go to the screen that has where I shared the credit reports, and we're good. Alright, so let me go and switch views. So I believe that was view number 3. Okay. And let's try to make this bigger. I don't know if I can, and I cannot. Okay, so I have a couple of reports, and what I did was I went on this one, I put the actual issues that are that are left to dispute on this credit report. So if you look over on the right, and let me try to move myself off of this a little bit more. If you look over on the right hand side, you will see my comments where, like, it says Equifax shows credit card instead of installment loan. That is kind of unique to Experian. So if you pull your credit report on an Experian related site, Credit Check Total, or Experian.com or whatever, you're going to see that Experian always shows Equifax reporting shit that just isn't what Equifax is truly reporting. So a lot of the times you can disregard it, but if you are looking for, if you're like grasping at straws and you really don't know what to do or what to say or who to say it to or whatever, there are other things that you can do. So long story short, I chose Equifax shows credit card instead of installment loan just because I had already disputed like everything else under the sun with this one. I have some reports that go way back to before I disputed them. Obviously, report number 1, and then I have what's a good credit monitoring program, Privacy Guard, Credit Check Total, or Identity IQ. Okay, if you look at the second comment, it says no notice of dispute. So let me try to make this bigger, zoom in. Perfect. Okay, so when I zoom in a little bit more, here we go. Okay. I hope you can see it. I'm looking at my other screen, and I believe I can see it. Okay, so if you look at the bottom where it says no notice of dispute, that's a violation. So some of the violations, if you recall, were no notice of dispute, collections showing, you know, late payments after it's gone to collections, obviously. And actually, I do have the ones that I wanted to show you. So let me go and add those here. So I think I have them under, I have them somewhere. I found them. I only pulled certain ones. So let me just extract them and I will be good to go on here. So extract all to, where are we going to extract to? We are going to extract to violations, results, and extract. Okay, so I can't remember all of them off the top of my head, but we are going to do, yes, okay, so now I have the ones that I wanted, and let's get rid of that and go back to my downloads. And I just have 2 more. Just give me 1 second. Alright, extract all. And we are going to go to violations. Oh, guys, I promise I'm almost there. Alright, get rid of this shit. And 1 more. And once again, I tried to pull the ones that I thought were the most important and the most prevalent so that you can figure out what to do with them. So now I have gotten exactly where it needs to go. Oh, screw you, skip these files. Alright, so let me just add in this before. I promise we're there now. Okay, so put my ass over here. I'm gonna add in the images now that I have them, and I'm going to insert them. Here we go. Okay guys, we are finally there. So I have reports for you, and I also have the actual violations that I want to talk about, okay? So, happy birthday to you, Philip. Alright, so let's get this over here, make this shit bigger. I'm telling you, it's been a really, really, really long day. I've been trying to get a bunch of files done because I found so many different violations on them, and it took me so long to do all these CFPB complaints that I had to do and everything, and that's why I look tired, okay? So I don't have anything on the credit report for reinsertion, but as you know, and as I've told you, reinsertion of a negative item is illegal if they didn't notify you within 5 days following the reinsertion. They're never going to do that unless you are in the middle of a lawsuit. So if you're in the middle of a lawsuit, they probably will, but besides that, they're not going to. So there's nothing that I can actually show you as far as that goes unless, you know what, I will put the link to a Section 611 reinsertion letter down below within an hour after within an hour after the completion of this. Alright, so I'm going to make myself a note about that so that you can come back to the description and get that. Alright, so that is a 611 letter. Alright, 611 letter is going to be down in the description. Okay, so failure to respond within 30 days. Now, I don't have anything on this one, but the reason that I have this one up here is because a lot of credit repair companies, and I don't want to say a lot, let's say a portion of companies, you know, strictly depend on this, and consumers strictly depend on this, and it doesn't happen like that now because of the automation of everything. You know what I mean? Like, it's not even a human that opens your mail. It's not a human that feeds it into a scanner. I mean, and it's the scanner that reads your letter. So because everything is automated, it makes it a lot easier for the bureaus and the creditors and the debt collectors to actually do an investigation. So for someone to sit there and wait these 30 days thinking that, you know, it's going to magically disappear because the creditor didn't respond, it's becoming less and less likely. So I'm having problems with account first premier sending me the full validation of debt. Well, okay, William Camacho Jr., there are ways around that, and what we're going to do is when I'm done with this, I'll take some Q&A. So you can post your questions now, that's totally fine. Okay, so do not count on this stupid ass 30 days because you are going to be highly disappointed, okay? Transferring or selling an account to another company without reporting the transfer and or zero balance. All right, so I do have stuff on this one. So let me go find it first before I share the screen. I have, there's actually quite a bit. Let's go look, where did I put it? Ah, I put it over here somewhere. Okay, so I believe it's on this one. Okay, while this is up, I might as well tell you what this one is. This one is the high balance being lower than the balance. Okay, so you can't, that doesn't make sense. High balance means that is your highest balance, right? So I'm going to, Philip, I am going to take care of you, and happy birthday. And I'm not going to say your age, I promise. Okay, so if you find, and this is not very often, that the balance is higher than the high balance, then that's an automatic reason for removal. So if you did find it and it did look like this, all you had to simply say, you know, to the bureaus, you don't want to dispute it with the creditors, say it to the bureaus, this account needs to be deleted because, put the because in there, but keep it super freaking ass simple, because the balance is higher than the high balance, okay? And then there's another violation about the lack of a limit reporting, but the comment section saying that the high balance is the limit. They are purposely doing that to screw up your credit, and there is a way to get around that. Okay, so do you see the section that says comments, subscriber reports, dispute, resolved, consumer disagrees? Okay, so what happened first was a notice of dispute was put on that file, right? So, you know, I'm disputing this, whatever the hell it is. I don't even know what account that is. I'm disputing it, and, you know, I disputed it with the bureaus. The bureaus told whoever the hell it is that I disputed it, and now they have to put that notice of dispute. So the creditor reports it, and then the bureaus have to put that on there if the creditor already did not put it on there, okay? So it's section 623 FCRA and 806B FDCPA that it is required to be on there, and I'm going to show you that it is like super prevalent that it's not going to be on there, okay? So you could be disputing for like ever, and it just doesn't happen. It doesn't go on there. And why? I mean, think about this. Okay, you go to apply for something, and the creditor needs to know that you actually, I didn't want to put that one up there. The creditor needs to know that you actually disputed that account, right? So why wouldn't it say disputed? It has to say disputed. All right, let me see what I put this one on here for. I'm going to make it bigger, and I'm going to move it. Okay, so this is a disputed account, and if you look down in the comments, it does not have the required notice of dispute. So this is credit check total, but if you went and pulled this credit report on Equifax, on TransUnion, on Privacy Guard, on Identity IQ, you're going to see the same shit, because I did that. I went and looked at the back door. I went and had this client pull, you know, privacy guard. I went and checked on, not credit check, total Experian, and none of them had the required notice of dispute. So because of that, we got the late payments taken off. Not the whole account, just the late payments. So this is what I'm talking about. You're going to see that a lot. But as you can see, there's also a monthly payment, even though the status says closed. So you don't want to do that with an account that you just want to take the late payments off of. You only want to do that with an account that you want to remove the entire thing, okay? So now this one, once again, was disputed, and there's nothing on there. It just says that it was charged off in in the comments. You can also see that there's no original amount. So I have used some of these images in different videos before, but I'm using these and the reports to show you what you already knew about the violations, right? What they are, but now you need to know what they look like and how to use them, okay? And this is my job. This is what I do all day, every day. Like, I sleep 4 hours, okay? I spend so much time on every single file that, like, I don't even remember, like, what my husband's face looks like, seriously, because all I'm seeing all day long are credit reports. Like, everything looks like numbers to me. So anyways, this one, if you look at the credit limit, okay, one of the violations is, let me go find it. One of the violations is purposely doing some shit or another. Let's go find it. Okay, this one's reinserting. This one's failure to respond. Transferring or selling without reporting it, failure to provide, if requested after verification, the method of verification, and I don't really have to go into that one because you guys all know about that. Failing to note that the item on your credit report is under dispute after creditor or debt collector has reported the dispute. So I kind of mixed them all in, and as you can see, a lot of them are the same because once again, we're looking at bureaus, creditors, and collection agencies. Okay. Here's another one that's the same, and I have them up here for a reason. Okay, failing to report a disputed account. You get what I'm saying? They're all the same shit, and that's why they're so important, and they're spread across so many different sections of the FCRA and the FDCPA. Okay, so here's another one. I am going to find the one I'm looking for, but here's another one. Failing to validate the debt in question while continuing to report it on your credit, which is, it's still further collection activity. Because if it wasn't, they would have removed it. They would stop calling you until they actually sent that proof that you, you know, owe account recovery services, or that you owe portfolio recovery, or that you owe, I mean, the original creditor, I mean, Walmart, whoever the hell it was, right? So that's another thing that you need to keep in mind, and you can use it simply by disputing it with the bureau. So in this instance, you would want to put, yeah, they come back freaking verified bullshit, right? Okay, so, and for Sheila Brunson, as far as the flat fee goes, I try not to. So if you don't have a lot of items, I do charge a flat fee, but if you do have a lot of items, I break it up into monthly payments, but we can get to that later. Anyways, as far as, only have the monthly then the first for every account. That is true. All right, so, sorry, I've got the chat over here, like I said, and I've got this here. All right, so if you dispute with the bureaus, and then you, a couple days later, dispute, you know, using the VOD to the collection agency, you would want to say to the bureaus, because remember, it's a very, very simple shit, very, very, very simple, like as simple as possible. I've even simplified it even more now. Because too many people, like, are getting things saying, oh, we don't understand your reason for dispute. Obviously you do, but it's because, you know, I'm actually pointing out, like, real errors and factual disputes. So I'll show you how to do that, but you can simply state that by them continuing to report an unknown and unverified account, they're in violation of the FDCPA. I mean, just super, super simple like that. And then what I was talking about as far as dumbing it down even further is that you can just simply state this account needs to be removed because it has an inaccurate open date. And you can put open date of blah, blah, blah. A balance of $552 is wrong. Please delete. If you have multiple, reasons that are blatant errors between, all three bureaus, then put no more than 3 in one sentence, and then put delete for multiple inaccuracies. And I did show you the type of results that you can get on video 1 for the credit bureaus, where it said deleted, 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 deleted. It was two whole pages of nothing but deleted, and that's because I dumbed it down even further to be as simple as humanly freaking possible, and it worked. I did not think it was going to work, but it did. Okay, so you can go to the CFPB with these violations and simply state that I disputed with, Experian or Equifax or TransUnion on X date, and I also disputed with Account Recovery, Portfolio Recovery, Commonwealth, whoever the hell it is, and they stated that it was verified, but they didn't actually verify it, and they're continuing to report it on my credit report, which is continuing further collection activity. That is a violation of the FDCPA, and it needs to be removed. And what I just told you is exactly what I would put into a CFPB complaint. Okay, so verifying an account with the credit bureaus before your request for validation has been completed. So I didn't even know about that one, and I had to actually go and do a little bit further research to understand what that means, because it's kind of simple. But basically, what happens is that if you sent in your VOD request, right, and they didn't say shit to you, it hasn't been actually validated, verified, whatever, but they tell the bureaus that it has been, then it has to be removed because they didn't actually process your debt validation request first before telling the bureaus that it's been, completed or verified or whatever. So I don't really have a reason for that one for you to use, but you can just basically take what I just said and put it into a reason. Okay, so reporting a late payment when collection accounts are close-ended and cannot be late, unlike open-ended credit card accounts. So there was one that I was looking for with the required notice to dispute and all that kind of stuff to put it into one image, but we've already seen them. There are multiple ones, so let's go look at this one. So let's go back and look at my screen. Let's go find it first. I think it's 3. Here we are. Okay. And voila. Okay. Account recovery services. Do you see that account recovery services is a collection on all 3 bureaus? But if you look down, you're going to see these late payments. So once again, that violation simply says that a collection account cannot report late payments because it's not an open-ended account type like a revolving account like a credit card, right? So how can it report late payments? Another one, and you're going to see this everywhere, on almost every report, if there is an unpaid charge-off, there's going to be late payments after the close date. So, think about that. The account is closed. Whether it's paid or not, that account is closed, right? So how can I be late on an account that is freaking ass closed? You can't. It's not possible. So how can you continue to accumulate all these late freaking ass payments after that close date? It's impossible. You can't do it. It's a violation, all right? So if we looked at all of these, you're going to see all of these late payments on all of these collections. This one has it, that one has it, CAF has it, the other CAF has it. This dude had a lot of collections when I started with him. Now, Dr. Bonnie, that one does not have it because it's TransUnion, and TransUnion doesn't, most of the time, doesn't report payment history. Now, yeah, this one was mostly collections, okay? So if I go and look at a different report, like that first one that I was showing you, and go to the next page, let's see what we have. Okay. This is one of the violations. So if you recall, one of the violations is failing to update the account as being updated, and it's actually not from, it's from the video prior to 3 videos ago. So it's where I shared my screen and it was like a PDF, and it had like things that were highlighted and boxed in where I was telling you, this is a violation, this is how your mail's processed at the bureaus, all that kind of shit. So one of the big things is that if you look at an account, right here it says status updated, right? 6/1/2015. I disputed this last month. I disputed this the month before that. I disputed this the month before that. I disputed this the month before that. That means that it should say 6 whatever 2018, because this year is 2018, although the month is July. Okay, does that make sense? You get what I'm saying? Whatever, when they do a dispute, they're supposed to update it because the investigation has now completed, and update that status. So if you get results saying that it's been verified or the account has been updated, then that date should change. If the date doesn't change, it's a violation because they didn't update it and they did not investigate the account. That is something that you can use to prove. And I just totally froze. But anyways, sorry, CPU is actually getting kind of high on the computer right now. So do you get what I'm saying? Like, these are certain things that you may not have known about that you can use to get your deletions, okay? So, no update since 2015 means account was never investigated. So take a look at your credit report. Go account by account, the negative accounts, not positive accounts. Account by account, and look at where it says the status update date. Now, certain websites are not going to show you. Privacy Guard, I believe, does have it. Identity IQ has it. Credit Check Total has it. Experian has it. But you can't use any of those free fucking sites, alright? Don't use Credit Karma, because if you're serious about doing this, then you need to be coming out of pocket and you need to be paying for this shit, okay? Because if you're serious about it, they're going to take you seriously. If you're not serious about it, then why would they and why should they take you seriously? You need to have the information to do this correctly, get it done the first time, and not deal with it ever again and move on with your life. But that all starts with getting the information from the right place, okay? So, the next one is, once again, Credit Check, on Credit Check Total, Equifax is reporting this as a credit card when it's actually an installment. So if you want to, if you are grasping at straws and you don't know what to do anymore, send a screenshot, a PDF, whatever of this, and a photocopy, whatever the hell you want to do. Send this, just this one page, and you would put, like, right where I put mine, but like handwrite it. Don't type it out like I did. You're going to handwrite, this is not a credit card. Delete. Only if you want it to be deleted. If it's, late payments, don't put that, okay? But you see what I'm saying? You want to look at the account type. You want to look at the terms. Or are there terms? Is there a type? You also want to make sure that, the date opened is accurate, just like somebody said right now about the dates being, different and everything, or that they're all the same. Okay, so once again, it has not been updated since 2014. So you get what I'm saying? Like, you're going to see these things all over the place. Like, I see the same things over and over and over again, and that's why I chose the ones that I did. Okay, so I don't want to get redundant, so I'm going to move past that. No update since 2014, never been investigated. And let me just see if there's, different open dates. Now we're talking about missing information. This one has no high balance, okay? So one of the violations that I was looking for was where there is no limit reporting. Now, I did say this in one of my previous videos, but Capital One is notorious for, and I did show you where the limit was not showing across all three bureaus, and that was actually a violation that I was looking for. They purposely don't do that, okay? So I'm going to show you how to delete it, or I'm going to tell you basically, and then I'm going to show you how to fix it on a positive account. So if you are not showing a limit on the account, it's because they purposely did not put it on there, and they did that to hurt you, okay? Capital One admitted it during testimony in a lawsuit, and they kind of got fucked because of it, but that works to your advantage, okay? So if you have a positive account, well, first of all, to get it off, you'd say this account has no limit. The limit is required to be there. Delete immediately. Now, if you have a positive account, and let's say that your credit limit is $2,500. Your credit limit is $2,500, right? But you're being a good boy or a good girl, and you're only using $100, right? So 100 out of 2,500 because you so care about your credit, because you're on the right track now, and you're like, yes, I'm doing the right thing. But guess what? It's Capital One. They do not report your limit. What they do is they put right down in the comment section that the credit card limit is the high balance. But that's just in the comments. Nobody reads the fucking comments, right? So they're thinking that you only have a limit of $100 because it says that the high balance is only $100 because that was your highest balance. So instead of it saying $2,500, it says $100. And guess what? Your utilization is now all fucked up because it says $100 when it's supposed to say $2,500. What you do to fix that, and once again, only on positive accounts, is you jack the credit all the way up. Go buy a fucking TV. I don't care. Whatever you want to, right? As long as you have that money to immediately go and pay it off. Go get your gas plus pay all your bills for the month all at once, but have the cash to go back and pay it immediately. So you just jacked it up, not past your limit, and you went and paid it down. So now your high balance is going to reflect your actual, limit. Okay, so it's going to show $2,500 instead of $100, and that is what is called an indirect dispute technique. Other indirect dispute techniques, and I am going to be making a video per each indirect dispute techniques because that is the next little mini series. That would be like authorized users, primaries, legal primaries, such as the subprime shit like My Jewelers and New Construct and Self Lender and all that kind of shit, right? So those are indirect dispute techniques. Another one is removing your addresses and other personal information, or doing the whole thing with looking for your correct limits. All right, so all of those little things can drastically fix your credit or enhance your credit or increase your credit score because you know what you're looking for. Now back to this, balance is higher than the high balance. That's not possible. The high balance means that that's the highest balance it has ever been. So how can you have a high balance of 2361 but the balance is 3371? Shouldn't it be the other way around, where the high balance is 3371? Even if they were equal to each other, then that would make sense. But the highest balance being lower than the balance due on a charge off doesn't make any sense, or on any account for that matter. Okay, so and I'm sure that you figured that out, but my live events are substantially longer than my regular videos. That's because I'm not timing myself. I'm not trying to go all fast and all that kind of shit. I'm here to help you in real time. And once again, I will be answering any questions that you want to shoot at me over on this side towards the end. Okay, and I do see them accumulating over here. Okay, so remember I said that you can use the missing information, like missing type, missing terms, and it says NERMs instead of terms. So those are things that you want to use as a last resort, but the limit is important. Okay, so you could use no type, no terms, missing high balance, missing original amount, and then the more important ones are limit and sold to. So it should say sold to Midland, sold to Portfolio, sold to Calvary, sold to whoever the hell it is, some company you've never heard of before. But if they did not put that it's been sold to and they do not own it anymore, right, then it is a violation. If it was sold and that other company is now reporting it, but this company is still reporting a monthly payment, a past due, or a balance, it's a violation. Okay, and one of those little images that I had shown does say that. So it's in video 1, 2, or 3, and it was on one of those that I just showed. All right, so I believe there's not that many more on this one, and plus I want to get to another one anyways, but you get the gist. Now you know what a little bit more of what you're looking for. So let's get off this dude's shit. These are student loans over here, the OSFAEDS. Okay, so I believe this is the one that had all the collections. Okay, here's an example of an account that was disputed that's not showing a notice of dispute. It says redeemed repossession fixed rate. It does not say account disputed by consumer. So you want to go through each and every negative item that you have. Pull it in as many places as you can. Pull it at Credit Check Total, pull it at Identity IQ, pull it at Privacy Guard, go and pull it on Experian.com. And you want to look to actually make sure that everything is reported the same on every report. Now, there's another thing that you want to look for, and there's one reason that I really like Identity IQ. It shows the date of last activity. Now, I do not want to pull up a report because it would show personal information, and I haven't edited anything to show you, so I'm not going to do that tonight. But if you look at the account it'll say at the bottom date of last payment, and then it'll say date last active. So I've seen it as recent as last night. I was processing a shitload of files last night, and it said date of last activity was a difference of 5 years between the bureaus. So like one was 2015, one was 2018, one was 2012, and then on another account it was I mean even more than that. So it's very, very important, because that's the date that stipulates when that account is going to come off your credit report. So if it's not the same between all three bureaus, then it's going to come off at different times. And how is that fair to you? The way that you handle that is contact the original creditor. If it doesn't work, just saying to the bureaus, you know, the last date of activity is incorrect or inaccurate, inconsistent, whatever. Contact the creditor, whoever it is, collection agency, creditor, whatever, and say, you know, I need to get the actual, in writing, the actual date of last activity. You take their response and you put it with your dispute letter and say, hey, look, Credit Bureau A, you know, fuck you. Here's the proof that you're fucked up, and here's the proof that you need to get this shit off my credit report, like, right now, because you know, you're saying that it's verified, but how can it be verified when all three bureaus are reporting different information from the same creditor? You get what I'm saying? Okay. Tonight, I love Coke. It's like I'm pregnant all over again. Like, I loved Coke. And before that, I didn't even drink Coke. And no, I'm not pregnant. Okay, so this one, I think everything I wanted to show you was at the top of this report. Okay, now that collection did not have any information on it as far as, you know, like the late payments and all that kind of stuff, but another thing is that on collections, there should be no past due. It can say balance, but, and I haven't found a law on it, alright, but everything that I think as common sense turns out to be a violation of some sort, okay? So there shouldn't be a past due, because it's not like you're making payments on a collection. It's just balance, collection, no late payments, no past due, no monthly payment, alright? So balance, yes. Past due, no. This is for a collection, not for a charge-off. A charge-off can, C-A-N, can show a balance, a past due, and no monthly payment, okay? Because it's closed. There shouldn't be anything on like that on a closed account. Alright, so on this one, why did I open this? Oh, because it's negative. Alright, so there's many things that you can dispute, and I just opened this just to find out which accounts were negative, but there were specific things that I wanted to show you on this one. Oh, now I know whose report this is. Okay, the reason I'm using this one is because this dude was a victim of identity theft, and he had been with me, or has been with me, for a year now, okay? So yes, I have files that are just fucking amazing, and I get like 50% removed in, like, you know, the first 30 days, and then I get the rest removed in like 3 months or whatever, right? But then there's those files where you get a shitload, like, in a very small, you know, small period of time, and then you still have to go out, go after the rest of the accounts. This is one of those files where, you know, neither of us gave up, and we still want to go after it. So out of a bunch of accounts, this dude has Barclays left, which you can see right here, and then only on one bureau, it was on all three, and then something that was non-identity theft related, this Nissan motor, right? So, because it was repoed and all that kind of shit. So, if you look at Barclays, where's the notice of dispute? If I've been on this for like ever, right, wouldn't there be a notice of dispute in the comments? There should be a notice of dispute in the comments, because I've been disputing it. Like, there was no lull in the time frame or whatever. It's not like, you know, we just stopped and then, you know, whatever, so that they could actually like complete it and then take that notice of dispute off. No, I kept disputing. So therefore, there should be a notice of dispute. So that's the reason I showed you this one. Okay, so if you look at Nissan, the account is still open, so having that monthly payment on there is legit. That's okay. It's supposed to be on there because, you know, it was negative, although there's still the late payments, but it was negative. It went to like almost charge-off status, and then he started paying again. So that's when you do want and do need, and it is okay to have a monthly payment on something that was negative because it's still open. So the way that you handle this one is taking off the late payments. But as you can see, except for TransUnion not reporting May of 2017, although it is on transunion.com, so I couldn't dispute it that way, all of the late payments are the same. So to go after individual late payments, it could take a very long time. So what I did was I made a CFPB complaint, and we got this one removed. What I do is I normally don't make CFPB complaints until like way later, until we have accumulated like so much shit against whoever it is that we're making a complaint against that there's absolutely nothing that they can do. There's nothing that they can do. You box them in and you're like, hey, look, oh, you're gonna say this? Okay, I have this. You're gonna say this? Okay, I have this. You're gonna say this? So on and so forth. So don't just frivolously make complaints, because they're going to say, hey, look, you're irresponsible, you're just trying to get this shit off your credit report, and we're not going to help you. We're just going to side with, you know, whoever it is. So this is the last report, but I do have other violations to show you that are the most important. Let me just go find a negative account. Okay, so that would be Capital One. Okay, here we go. Do you notice all of these late payments, 2014 March, all the way up through 2018, right? Okay, this is a closed account. This is a charged off account. How can there be all of those late payments? The account has been closed for like ever. And it was actually caught in the middle of the page. So this is a charge off, but it's not showing the date updated, and normally with Experian that's the date that they charged it off, because a lot of the times they don't update that status update date, which once again you can use to get it off your credit report. Okay, so there should be no late payments after the account is closed. Remember I told you that? Now, for like the longest time, I was disputing that way. Like I used it as one of the reasons for dispute, and then I just stopped, right? Because it just wasn't working. And then all of a sudden, I tried it again, and it started working again. So what you have to realize is that just because you do something and it works, and then you do it again and it doesn't mean that it no longer works. It just means that it doesn't, there's nothing that works 100% of the time on like 100% of everything. Like disputing unknown with every single, you know, collection that is not like portfolio recovery or Midler or whatever. It's not going to work. Sometimes it's going to work, and sometimes it's not. Sometimes you can dispute, you know, enhanced recovery, ERC, as unknown, and other times you have to say, like, you know, Section 609 protects me against you doing this, and I need to see something that proves the ownership of this account. Please delete. So, having said that, the whole point was behind this was that I started disputing this again about the late payments after that close date, because you know, I read something and I shared it with you guys in 4 videos ago, where it literally says, you know, it doesn't work 100% of the time on 100% of shit. So people that guarantee that we're going to get, you know, 100% of your negative items off in 45 days, let's just say 45 days, 100% of the time, that just doesn't even make any sense. Or that 100% of the time, you know, identity theft method works. No, because I can go and dispute these files right here that I'm working on tonight, all as identity theft, and maybe 5 out of 25 of them are going to work. But if I disputed one as identity theft, and then the rest of them, you know, I did some VODs, on some of them I disputed, you know, with the creditor first, and then on some of them I did the bureaus first, and then I did the creditors, and then on some of them, you get what I'm saying? Like some of them I made complaints right after round 1. Like, you have to change it up. It's not going to work. The same shit, using it all the time. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but that's all I'm trying to say here, is that that's why I give you all of these little things, because it's not going to work all the time. You know, don't put a comment on a video and say, oh, what you said doesn't work. Motherfucker, yeah, it does work, or else I wouldn't be getting the results that I do. Okay, I'm just giving you this information, and I know I'm not yelling at you guys. I'm just giving you this information so that you have everything in your arsenal, so that you can go after these companies and you can get your deletions, and so your life makes sense again, and you don't have to worry about this shit. You get what I mean? So, okay. I don't think that there's anything else on this report, but it's the same thing over and over and over again, that you're going to see missing information, that you're going to see, you know, the status update, you're going to see the no notice of dispute. I mean, there's so many different things that I could tell you right now, but I'm just trying to stick to these violations, all right? So I know that there was another violation in here, and I need to go find it, and it always goes back to 1, so let's go find it. Transferring and selling, okay, dispute, validate, verify, and this is where we left off. Reporting a late payment on collection accounts that are closed because they are not open-ended, and then reinserting. Okay, so we did go through all of the violations that were the most prevalent and the most important. Not really important, because obviously all of the other ones are important, right? But having said that, I just want you to know that if one thing doesn't work, go and write down what you're going to do next. So let's say that you know, the whole reinsertion doesn't work. Then you're going to go after, you know, the notice of dispute. And if the notice of dispute doesn't work, look for whether the creditor even, you know, responded, and then go after the failure to respond. And you can make a CFPB complaint about it. If that doesn't work, then go and look for missing information, such as, you know, transferring or selling an account without reporting it, like I showed you. If that doesn't work, then, I mean, you can, so on and so forth. You get what I'm saying? And then lastly, I want to talk about the failure to give the requested information, the method of verification. Okay, so this one's a little bit ambiguous, right? Like, what does it mean for them to give you actual verification, and what happens if they do? So if you request the method of verification, and you actually get, like, you know that little statement that says, you know, this is what we did, but it really doesn't say anything, then you can make a complaint with the CFPB. But now let's say that you did get a contract that you actually signed, and it has your signature right on it, right? What do you do then? I'm going to tell you what you do. So you want to make sure that that notice of dispute, this is why it's so important that you guys know this. You want to make sure that the notice of dispute was put on the account within 30 days from the date they received your first letter, right? So let's say that today is, I don't even know what date it is. What does my computer say? It's the 14th, right? So if I send out a letter today, we're going to give it 4, maybe 5 days for the mail, depending on where in the US it's going, right? And then we count 30 days. So on that 31st day, we're going to pull a new report, okay? And this is not the way that I do it as a business. This is the way that you want to do it as an individual, okay? So you're going to pull that new report on the 31st day after you sent that mail, and you're going to determine if that notice of dispute was on there. Because yeah, maybe they did send you the contract for that vehicle that, you know, you owe $14,000 on, but did they put that notice of dispute on there? If they did not, it's a violation. It doesn't matter that they sent you that 15-page contract with your signature, like, you know, right at the bottom. It doesn't matter. They have to put that notice of dispute. Now, let's say they put the notice of dispute, but they didn't give you that signed contract. It's a violation because they didn't prove whatever it was that you requested of them. You get what I'm saying? So if you don't get one, you go after the other. If they do both, then what you do then is you go after something else. So something else would be like, now let me go pull up a different screen here. Okay, not that screen. This screen. Okay, so something else would be like the balance, right? So now, you know, now you you basically said that it's mine. Here's my signature. Now I want to dispute the balance. Now I'm going to dispute the fact that it's reporting as an authorized user and, it's actually individual. Now I'm going to dispute the so on and so forth, the past due. So just because an account was legally verified, it doesn't mean that you no longer have options to continue moving forward. You just have to know what it is to, like, put it in like a hierarchy, right? So like, if you were to draw a pyramid, so here's my screwed up pyramid, right? So here's my pyramid. You can't really see it. It kind of looks like one of those Hershey Kisses, right? So here's my pyramid, and I'm trying to see if it even what it looks like over here. Yep, okay. You can see it. So here's my pyramid. Now what happens is that you're going to have the things that are like, what do you call those, like general disputes down here, right at the bottom, and the stuff that really matters here at the top. So the method of verification would be up here at the top. The notice of dispute would be up here at the top. The very specific things that I showed you would be here at the top. But all those things like disputing the balance just because you have nothing else to dispute, the missing high balance, that would be down here. You get what I'm saying? Like, you have it. Oh, it's kind of like if you are into SEO, right? Like, let's say that when I go and post a video on YouTube, it's going to ask me for all my keywords, my tags, and you put all of the relevant ones for the video in the beginning of your tags, and then at the bottom you have all the general ones. So for this video, it would be, how to use FCRA and FDCPA violations to remove verified accounts, right? And then on the bottom it would say credit repair, disputes, credit dispute letter, or some shit like that. That's the same thing as disputing your negative items, that you do all the specifics up here and, the non-specifics down here. And that's, you just work your way down. If you get to all the way to the bottom, you've gone through all 17 reasons, for dispute, then there may come a time when you just want to just give up. You know what I'm saying? Just, there's a time when you may just want to give up. And I'm not saying that for you to feel like you need to. I'm not saying that for, you to get upset. I'm saying that certain things, just for whatever reason, it just doesn't come off. You get what I'm saying? And you've gone through 85 million different things, okay? Move on with your life, all right? What you could do is you have your negative items over here. You're going to use indirect dispute techniques to raise up your credit score. This is going to get older and older and older and older, and the older it gets, the less it's going to affect you. And here you are over here working on your credit score to raise it and raise it and raise it and raise it and make it look all nice and everything. And this is going to matter less and less and less and less, okay? Does that make sense? You get what I'm saying? At least I hope that you get what I'm saying. So, like I said, that's going to be a next video where I show you the indirect dispute techniques, so that you can, while you're working on all of this shit, you can, raise your credit score and everything. But the reason why it says to remove verified accounts is because most of you guys have already disputed and it's already come back as verified, because most of the comments that I get on the videos is, the credit bureau said, or Experian said, or whatever, that it was verified, but, now what do I do? So that's why I put it as, to remove verified accounts. Okay, so I don't have a problem taking a couple of questions, so I'm going to move my chat over this way so I'm not looking over here while the camera's over here. So let me go and just move this. And if you have not commented and you want to comment, just go ahead and put that there now, and I will answer questions. And just so you know, there is, for whatever reason, a little bit of a delay, because I'm actually watching myself on the live page. There's a delay between me doing it live right now and like a 5-second delay. So if you post something, I'll try to answer it right now, okay? So I just want to let you know that there's a delay. So I'll take like 10-ish minutes or so to answer questions. So if you want me to answer a question, go ahead and put it in the chat right now. Okay, is the open date the first day of delinquency? No, it is not. The open date is the date the account was opened. So let's say that I went and opened a card with Capital One, or I walked into a dealership and that's the date that I got my loan. That is going to be the open date of the loan, or of the revolving card, or of the so on and so forth. Now, the first date of delinquency is going to be when you're paying on your Capital One card and you go late. You had the kids to feed, and you weren't thinking about paying Capital One because you didn't get paid as much at work that you thought you would, and so you went a little bit late. That's going to be the first date of delinquency, is that first 30-day late payment. Now, if you are also thinking about the whole thing with the statute of limitations, it's actually 7.5 years. So it's 7 years from that 180-day mark, okay, when it comes to charge-offs. So if you're wondering when your account is going to come off, it does not go back to the first date of delinquency. It goes back to 180 days after you first went late. So that's where that comes in. Thoughts on removing a bankruptcy from Experian and when the other two bureaus deleted them? Okay, Latricia, so as far as that goes, some people say that you can use the bureaus against each other, and I'm just going to rip this right now because it's got notes on it, but I don't care. So we have Experian over here and we have Equifax over here, but whoever I just said over here is, they deleted it, and now you're just left with this one. Now, because they deleted it, you're thinking, why can't I use this to get this off, right? It doesn't work like that. If you write a letter to whoever the hell this was and say, I had a bankruptcy on my credit and it's not accurate, and Equifax removed it because they found that it was invalid, why won't you remove this from my credit report? The response that you're going to get is very simply that they interpret, there's no interpretation of the FCRA and the FDCPA, okay? They interpret the FCRA differently, and they found that it is accurate and that it needs to stay on there. So don't try to use them against each other, because 7 times out of 10 it's not going to work, although it has worked before. Okay, so my Miracle 79, I have an emergency bill from 4 years ago just put in collection with an open date of 5/16/18. Can they do that? Okay, an emergency bill from 4 years ago just put in collection. Okay, so all right, I think the way that it works is that even though it says 5/16/18 and it's from 4 years ago, the way that's going to work is that if it's from 4 years ago, that would have been 2014, right? Yeah, it would have been from 2014. So when that statute of limitations hits at 7 years, it's actually going to fall off. That just so happens that that's the date that they started reporting it, and they can report that as the open date because that's when they got it and they started reporting it, okay? So it is legal for them to do that, and even though the date says one thing, if you get a credit report directly from the credit bureaus, look at the date, where it says this is going to stay on your report until 2022, 2019, 2017, whatever, November, October, December. You want to look at that date, and if that matches with that whole 5/16/18 thing, then that is illegal. But more than likely, it's not going to match, and that 7 years is going to coincide with the 4 years ago, because that's the actual open date of the account. Okay. And let me just mute my phone because it is buzzing over here. Okay. And yes, Experian jerks. Yes, 100%. Experian is the most difficult to deal with, the most difficult to remove. Okay. Can there be a late payment on a closed, charged off account? Yes. But let me try to explain this. On a closed, charged off account, can there be a late payment? Okay, there should only be late payments up to 180 days late, right? Because remember I said about the late payments after the account was closed? So if the account closed like 6 months ago but now you're in your 7th month of not paying them and you still see late payments, then it shouldn't be reported like that. The account was closed, it is charged off, and it needs to be removed because those late payments cannot continue reporting. And if you recall, somewhere in the video I showed you all of those late payments going from 2014 to 2017. All of those are illegally reported. Okay, so what if I have multiple consecutive OKs, like on-time payments in my credit report, and the very next month they report me as 90 days late? Actually, that happens with what do you call those, student loans a lot. I see those all the time. Like, I could literally, if I had a way to immediately block the information from reporting, I would literally be able to show you right now. And I just froze again. Okay, so it does count as inaccurate. It's not technically a violation because it doesn't fall under one of those violations, but it should go just like, 30, 60, 90. We all learned how to count when we were kids. It still remains the same. It doesn't go 0 to 9. It goes 3, 6, 9, right? So with student loans, I don't know if that's what you're talking about, but with student loans, especially Navient, they will go straight from okay to 90 days late. I don't know why. I don't know if it can be considered a violation, but I do get them off by disputing it that way. Okay, so I'm going to scroll up a little bit because I did have questions up here, I think. Okay, charge off from First Premier that won't go away. Sent 609 letters to bureaus and VOD to creditor. VOD to the creditor? Okay. Now, Mark Perez, I don't know if you're talking about the collection agency or the creditor, and got response back from the creditor saying under FDCPA they're not a debt collector. Okay, and that's exactly what I just said. Why did you send it to the creditor? Okay, so with a charge off, right, so you have First Premier and you are sending the 609s to the bureaus. That's okay. 619 does go to the bureaus because it's FCRA, and you sent a VOD to the creditor being First Premier. What you did wrong there is disputing using the FDCPA to a company that is the original creditor, right? So they should be a 623 dispute, or directly going through the bureaus, because a VOD goes to a third party or debt buyer collection. That's when you should be using the VOD. The VOD is the FDCPA. With the original creditor, you should be using a 623, okay? So do not 609 a creditor, and do not VOD a creditor, and do not 623 a debt collector. There's very specific things that you need to do. So what I would do if I were you is I would go and look at my cheat sheet. Let me just go and write myself a note to put that down in the description within an hour after I've completed this. So you're going to go and you're going to pull the cheat sheet. You're going to go and you're going to pull the cheat sheet, right? And it's going to show you who you need to dispute with using what. And you know what? I'm going to go find it real quick, and I'm going to update this, and you can go and get the link right now. Alright, so I believe I have it in my Google Drive. And I'm doing it now because it shows a lot of stuff on there. Other people may want it. I have posted on multiple videos before. Okay, so the cheat sheet is going to tell you who to dispute with and what you are using to dispute with them. So, for example, what I was just talking about with Mark Perez's question about First Premier, not really a question, more like a statement, but his problem is that he was using the wrong dispute techniques with the wrong entity or whatever. So, let me just go find it. Alright, cheat sheet. Alright, so... And I'm literally just going to put the link. Here it is. Cheat sheet. Get me a link to it. Get shareable link. And I'm copying it. And I'm going to go in and I'm going to edit this shit. Hopefully I can edit it while I am actually doing it. Just so that you guys have it like right now. and then I'll tell you as soon as I save it, and you should be able to reload and it'll be there. So just give me 2 seconds while I put it in there. And this actually might take a second to load. So, oh, it just came up. Okay, so I'm going to put it right at the top of the description, and I'm doing it right now. So, cheat sheet, link, paste it, and save. Alright guys, so the cheat sheet is now down in the description. You can reload if you want to get it, and it will show you what to dispute with who and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so, and I don't want to say this name incorrectly, so I'm just going to say Miss Nichols says 90-day late, May 2015 late payment on student loan account and deferment 2/15 to 7/30/15. Okay, you need to remove that whole account because and it also depends on who's reporting it, but you would want to remove the entire account because if you're, who the fuck is Key Credit Fix? I don't really care about anybody posting about other businesses on here. So anyways, back to this. Okay, so if it is Navient, you're going to need to remove the entire account. If it's the Department of Ed, then you can go after the individual late payment. So go back to the oldest late payment and dispute that late payment. Okay, so if anybody has other questions, please post them now, because otherwise, thank you. I appreciate that. Everyone should use expert credit sweeps. How nice. You say the nicest things. Alright, I'm going to go all the way up then and see if we have any other questions. Okay, so I literally saved this for the end just because I wanted to give enough time for anybody to ask any questions that they had. And I know that you have, I know that I give a lot of information, but I obviously would think that you have questions because people post questions on all of my videos. So if you don't post it in the chat, I'm not going to know that you have a question, and I'm not going to answer it for you. So, okay, just caught up on Snap-on Tools reporting, no dispute, and alerted CFPB to it. That's exactly what you want to do. And then Philip says, how do you know all these? I've been doing this for over 10 years, and I had to do my own credit. I've never had a client that had worse credit than me. Like real talk, I've never had a client ever that had worse credit than me. Okay, so I know all these because I dealt with all of these, and I have multiple certifications, and I've traveled all over, you know, the United States and spoken with experts and gone to seminars and taught seminars, and you know, I've been on panels and all that kind of stuff. I've been around the people that have all this information, and I learned this information so that I can implement this information because I'm an expert at what I do. I'm not saying that I'm the best in the world, because I'm not. I know that there's other people who know more shit, and that, you know, whatever. I'm just saying that this is my niche, this is my specialty, and I know it because I went out and I was determined to learn these things, and I read the FCRA, I read the FDCPA, I read all these, you know, all these things, and then I learned to implement them. But as far as my credit, I had to learn the hard way. And once again, my credit was worse than yours will ever be. Mine is worse than anybody who sees this, like the recordings or whatever. My credit is worse than yours will ever be and has ever been. And that's why I do what I do, and I come from it and a, you know, a different perspective, because I've been there, I know the pain, and you know, that's why I know all this shit. So okay, so you caught up on the Snap-on Tools. So with the no notice of dispute, it's a good thing that you know that you made the complaint with the CFPB, because they're just going to get away with it, and they're just going to continue reporting an invalid account. And what I was going to say like 40 minutes ago is that when a creditor that you are applying to goes and pulls your credit report, they need to see that the account is being disputed, because otherwise they're going to assume that that account is accurate and that it belongs on there. So that's one of the major reasons that you want the notice of dispute to be on there. But just so you know, when you go in to get a mortgage, that notice of dispute has to come off. You have to get rid of it. Okay, I'm scrolling back down to the bottom. Okay, on a failure by a creditor to put disputed on comments, is it okay to alert the CFPB as well? Yes. Okay, William Camacho Jr., I'm having problems with an account. First Premier Bank sending me the full validation of debt. Okay, so do you remember where I said it's okay if they do one thing, you still have the backup, and then you still have those 17 other reasons for dispute? So if they send you, the whatever it is that actually proves the account, your signature, something verifying your IP address, a handwriting verification, whatever it is, you still need to look for the required notice of dispute. So if they do one and not the other, it's a violation. If they do one and not the other over here, then it's a violation. If they do none, then it's a violation. And if they do both, then you still have 17 other reasons for disputing, okay? So I'm only going to answer a couple more of them because, like I said, I still have all of these to process. Okay, Shanitra. Okay, so on a charged off account, should there be a past due balance? There can be a past due balance. If the account is unpaid, then obviously it's going to show a past due balance until it has been paid. The one thing that it cannot report is a monthly payment, because your total monthly payments are going to be reported inaccurately, and you can actually be denied credit just because your total monthly payments are reported inaccurately, okay? I just looked at Identity IQ, what you said just while they were jacked up. You'll have a field day with mine. Alright, so I'm going to the bottom. I'm going to see if there are any other questions that I need to get to. If your identity got stolen, you need to dispute the accounts that were actually the result of fraud, and do a police report only if you are a victim of fraud. Only if you know that your identity was stolen and that this shit was compromised. Do not do it just to get the negative items off, okay? You can dispute, you know, the fraud shit as fraud, and you can dispute the non-fraud shit as non-fraud shit. Just don't do all, you know, all together if it's not true, okay? You want to do the police report, you want to determine which items are actually, you know, fraudulent, and then you need to do an affidavit. Okay, Jessica West. The response I'm getting from TransUnion is, we see you're concerned about your report. Here's a copy, review and let us know. Why are they sending this? You know what? I honestly cannot answer that. Let me try to. Okay, so the response I'm getting from TransUnion is, we see you're concerned about your credit. Oh, I have seen that. I have seen that. All it is a way to get you to back off. It's a stall tactic. That's literally all that it is. And all you have to do is basically send a very simple, short letter, very, very simple, saying, I am disputing or challenging, use the word disputing or challenging these negative items. 1, blah, blah, blah. 2, blah, blah, blah. 3, blah, blah, blah. Okay? That way, they can't just say, we see that you're concerned. No, they have to accept your dispute, and they actually have to process your investigation and then send you the results. Now, another thing that you may not know is that, this goes for everybody, the bureaus are actually required to send you something acknowledging the receipt of your investigation request within, like 3 days or 5 days or something. They never do that. Like, I would say maybe 2 times out of 10 they'll do it. And that's another thing that you can go after. Okay, best way to initiate pay for delete. And I actually had someone ask me this earlier, and I'm still looking for a letter for that, because like, if you watch, I'm going to share my screen with you so you can see what I'm talking about. And you see I have my chat right there. Alright, so I'm going to go show you right here. Let's go block my face. I'm going to show you that I have a million letters, right? So let's go look at this shit. We're going to pull this up. Come on. Okay, I have like a million letters, and this is only like 1% of them. And I was going through my letters looking for a P for delete letter. So I've got, and once again, I don't use templates, so these are just letters that I pull shit from. And I don't think that I have a pay for delete, or else I would, oh look, pay for delete 1. Here we go. Okay, let's open it and find out what it says, because then I will go and upload it and I will give you a link to it. Alright, let's find out. That shit takes forever to open. Sorry. Okay. Somebody was asking me about that earlier. While this is opening, what to do when repo keeps coming back verified when all the discrepancies have been disputed. Send the repossession letter if it has been over 2 years old and they have not taken you to court. And do you want me to post the repo letter down in the description? I will. Okay, so let me move this over here so you can see it. This is a pay for delete settlement letter. So, and I'm going to put this and the repo letter down in the description. So, pay for delete settlement letter, it basically says, you're going to have to word this differently. So, it's been a pleasure working with you, and I thank you for working with me on the settlement matter. As you are aware, over a year ago, I suffered a few setbacks that severely impacted me financially, to the effect that has led to this account to being in the state that it is. Unfortunately, it has left me with little resources to satisfy this account, and blah, blah, blah. Going forward, I feel obligated to your company and want to make an effort to settle this for X dollars as payment in full. In addition, any references to the late payment or charge off regarding this account are removed from my credit file. So you offer them X, and then you need to say, I will pay, you know, I will pay you X if you blah, blah, blah. Okay? I'm going to go put this, on the description and the repo letter. Okay, last question, and this is a question from me to you. Does anybody have a request for a letter type that they need while I have my templates open? So I have, let's go find out what I have, because I like never go in here. Okay, if you're being sued, I have objection to complaint. I have, for verification of original creditor, LexisNexis, additional shit. I have Bureau Inquiry removal, but I think I have that one on the website. I have a 609C. I've got letter for student loan deletion. I unfortunately don't have one for that, because I always write that one very, it's all unique. Okay, these are just bullshit. 609. This is 603. 603 is something that you guys might want to look into. That one is where, how do I put it? That one is stating that you did not give your permission for that account to have ever been reported on your credit file. Removal of hard inquiries. Okay, we are sticking with that one. Okay, I'm going to go put the letter for the cheat sheet's already on there. I'll put the 611 letter for reinsertion, the repo letter, and hard inquiries. It's going to be a bureau letter for hard inquiries. Hard inquiries. If I don't write it down, I am going to forget, because that's how scatterbrained I am right now. And I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to get rid of this. And I am going to get rid of this and go back to this. Alright guys, so I went an hour and a half, so I went much further than I thought that I was going to, but that is basically it for tonight. I appreciate you being here with me, and the next little mini series is going to be about the indirect dispute techniques. I think I want to do it on that. I'm not too sure. I still have to think about it, but I'll have another video for you guys soon. If you need assistance with your credit and you want to have someone take over it and you know, all that kind of shit, you can schedule a consultation with me, and the link is going to be down in the description, because I think it's there. If it's not there, I don't know, but it's simply on the book online page at expertcreditsweeps.com. So I will see you guys later. Thank you for being a part of this. I really appreciate every single one of you, and I will talk to you guys later. If you think of any other questions, just put them down in the comments once this video actually posts on here, okay? I will see you guys later, I guess. And that, I believe, is about it. Alright, you guys have a wonderful evening, and I will see you guys next time. Bye. I'm logging out now, okay? Bye.